Alright, what's up everybody, it's Kame. Welcome to a review of Dragon Ball Super Episode 79, Universe 9's Basil, the Kicker, versus Universe 7's Majin Buu. So, last episode's preview, right? We kind of just like started off the episode, normally, like it was just the tournament starting or whatever being announced and stuff. And then, Buu and Basil start fighting, but not too much happens, right? It's kind of just like Buu getting his ass beat for a little bit. And Basil's, all cocky about it. He's like, ha, you ain't shit, or whatever. I'm gonna body bag you. So, this episode starts with Buu getting tossed around and stuff again by Basil, but Buu's just eating all of his hits, alright? Like, Basil's, like, hitting him with a bunch of crazy kicks and stuff and, like, a bunch of other crazy shit, and Buu's kind of just sitting there like, huh, that was cute, do it more, and he's like, that was fun, hit me again, and Basil's like, well, alright, you want to be like that, then I guess I'll keep hitting you and shit. So, he keeps doing this, right, and he's just, like, beating the hell out of Buu or whatever, and Buu's just eating these hits, and, like, while I'm watching this, I'm like, oh, boy, he's not ready for what Buu's about to do. And not even 5 seconds after that, Buu's like, alright, whatever, hit me with your best shot. So he's like, okay. So his, Kai or whatever of his universe and stuff is like, hey, Basil, get him with your ultimate move or whatever. Do what you gotta do. So Basil does this kind of like kick thing where he goes up into the air and he charges up this like really big ki blast on his knee, and he starts like kicking and he starts shooting a bunch of these ki blasts like everywhere, and they just hit everywhere and they kind of just ricochet and hit a bunch of stuff, and one of them ends up hitting Mr. Satan, right, and he gets like all injured and shit, and he's like, oh damn, and Buu's like, oh no, Satan, are you okay or whatever? And he's like, yeah, whatever, don't worry about me, just worry about the fight. And he like kind of passes out, and this triggers the shit out of Buu, alright? Like, I'm talking about Buu is like, nah, I'm not playing anymore. So this happens, right? And Buu's trigger just activates. He's like, oh nah, boy, you're gonna die. And he looks at Basil and he's like, alright, now I'm gonna get serious about stuff. And he gives him this like little like smirk and shit, and it was really like crazy, and it was like, oh shit, Buu, like, what are you gonna do, bro? Chill. And Buu starts beating the shit out of Basil. I'm talking about, Basil was all hyped and stuff, and like, hyping himself up to be like he was this super strong, super crazy warrior, and Buu just starts beating the shit out of him. Like, he's tossing him left and right, rapid punching him, rapid kicking him into everything, and it was really damn cool, right? Like, this fight was just going like back and forth for a while at first, and then, Mr. Satan gets like hit, and Buu's like, oh shit, and that's his trigger, and Basil ends up doing his little ultimate barrage thing again to try and hit Buu, and Buu ends up, absorbing one of the balls. I gotta stop saying, but he absorbs one of the energy balls, and he throws it back, and when he throws it, Basil kind of just like dodges it, and it goes towards one of the other Supreme Kais, and one of the other gods like pedestals, and then they're like to Goma, and he's like, right, and it's this guy that we saw in the preview or whatever, like the teaser image before any of this stuff started in this arc, and it was the guy that has like the really big cape with like the white hands, who I'm going to assume is that alien guy that we see in the opening and stuff. So he just completely like absorbs this like ball, and he just like holds out like one hand and he just destroys that thing into nothing. He absorbs it, whatever the hell he does, he gets rid of it, and he's like, don't disrespect a god. And I'm just like, yo, what is this dude like doing? Like, that was crazy. He just ate that, ultimate attacker, this giant ki blast from this dude like it was nothing. So Buu and Basil keep going back at it. Buu eventually sends Basil flying out, and then they're like, oh yay, we won. But the Supreme Kais are like, no, or not the Supreme Kais, Zeno and Future Zeno were like, oh no, that's too boring, it was too short, let them keep fighting. So they're like, whatever. So Basil crawls back up into the arena, and he looks at his Supreme Kai, and he's like, hey, let me get a fruit. And he gets a fruit from him, and he eats it, and it's kind of like the fruit of the Tree of Might, I guess. That's what I would compare it to, because he eats the fruit, and it gives him this really big power boost, and he gets this like energy spike, and he's like, alright, let's go now, I'm ready for this and stuff. And Beerus kind of like bitches about it. He's like, hey, that's cheating, you can't use supplements or whatever, and things like that. But then he brings up Majin Buu healing himself, because earlier on in the fight, Majin Buu got a hole blown through him, and he just heals himself up. And he's like, oh, well, that's part of Buu's ability, that's different from this, but Zeno's just like, whatever, no rules right now. And then the Grand Priest is like, okay, these matches will be anything goes. We'll get an established rule set for the actual Tournament of Power. So that means that this next fight that's going to happen in the next episode, which is going to be Gohan's fight, is going to be a no rules match. So if Gohan gets killed and he messes up and he dies, they can't do anything about it. So if Gohan dies, holy shit, that's going to be crazy. I don't think he's going to die, and I hope not, but it can happen. If the other guy gets killed by Gohan, that'll also be really cool. So it could go either way with these fights right now that are going on, and I'm really liking that it has this, I guess, aspect to it, that it can just, go anywhere. It's whatever the hell happens. So that's really cool to me. But I was super excited when he says this. So then Basil gets his power up, and he's like, alright, I'm gonna fight Buu now, and I'm gonna, give him all I've got. So he's just hitting Buu all over again and stuff, and Boo's getting, you know, what looks like pushed back and thrown into the floor and stuff, and Goku and Gohan are kind of just paying attention to while Hercule's knocked out by now, but the Kais, the Elder Kai and stuff, are just like, oh shit, you know, like what's going on, and everybody else from the other universe, from Universe 9, is like sitting there laughing at Boo, but Goku and Gohan know, nah, Boo's, you know, way too strong for this. He's just gonna keep eating hits and not be damaged at all. So that's exactly what happens. Boo keeps eating hits, and eventually Basil's like, all right, you know, there's got to be something that's got to hurt you, and he's just like, nope. All right, now it's time for my power, right? And Basil like had used his ultimate move again and stuff, and he had hit Boo and shit like that. But Boo was just like, whatever, now I'm gonna beat you. So Boo holds both of his hands together as Basil's kind of just like stuck there because he thought that he had killed Boo and he couldn't do anything else. And he's just like in like a little cooldown, you know, breathing or whatever. He's like, oh shit. And Boo charges up like this giant key beam, like kind of like a Kamehameha, I guess. That was like Boo's Kamehameha. And it was really huge. And he just blasts Basil. And at first, when he hit him, I thought he was just going to completely like evaporate and just die. So he ended up not just dying. So that was, you know, kind of anticlimactic. But I thought he was just going to get blown into smithereens just from the way the blast looked. He kind of just like ate it. But Basil was just like, oh, that wasn't anything to me. And then the Elder Kai's like, yeah, no, he lost. And then out of nowhere, Basil just drops. And I guess his energy just runs out from the fruit or whatever. His power boost in his body just, you know, shut down. So it was just like, hey, that's cool. He thought he was going to do something important, but he kind of just got fodderized by Boo. And after that, Boo wins or whatever. And they're like, yay, whatever. Universe 7 gets this win for this match. So then the Grand Priest resorts... he like, what's a good word for it? He kind of just like reverses the stage because the battlefield itself had a bunch of like, you know, holes in it, and there was like, it was all destroyed and crumpled up. So he reverts it back to its original cleaned up state, and he's like, right, you know, next fighters get ready. So Gohan goes up to Goku and he's like, yo, Dad, I'll fight next and I'll show you how strong I became. So Gohan's fight is going to happen in the next episode. It's going to happen next week, episode 80. That's going to be really exciting from the episode preview of that fight, because after that it kind of just ends and they're like, right, whatever, and Gohan gets onto the field and then the other wolf guy gets on. He was like the yellow wolf. I don't remember if they said his name or not. But Gohan gets onto the field with him, and they kind of just look at each other and stuff, and it's like, all right. And in the preview, we see them fighting for a bit, and the episode is titled something around the lines of Son Gohan, show your true strength or something like that. And Gohan, towards the end of the actual preview, has this kind of purple thing on his eyes, which I'm assuming the guy poisoned his eyes, or he did something to blind Gohan, because Gohan is in his Super Saiyan form at this point, like just base Super Saiyan. I don't think it was like Super Saiyan 2 or anything like that. It just kind of looked like normal Super Saiyan. And he's just like, all right, whatever. And he's fighting with his eyes closed, so he probably got blinded, and he's going to be, you know, just sensing his ki or something like that. But that was really cool. It was a really good episode overall. Just the whole entire thing was just, you know, a good fight. It was just hands being thrown. There was giant ki blasts going at each other. There was people, you know, dodging things. Just Boo got a hole blown through him. It was really good. Overall, the episode itself, you know, was just really fun to watch. I just had a great time watching it. Honestly, it was great. I loved it. And it was just really exciting, you know? It was just one of those episodes where it's like, this is just a fighting episode where they're just gonna, you know, duke it out and have this battle. And it was really well paced because it was just back and forth between Basil and Boo, Basil and Boo, Basil and Boo. And so Boo just kept getting back up, and Basil was like, shit, what am I supposed to do to this guy now? And it got to the point where Boo's like, all right, I'm done playing around, and, you know, you hurt Hercule, so I'm gonna hurt you. And he just body bags Basil, and Basil's out. So next episode is going to be exciting. What do you guys think is going to happen in the next episode? Do you guys think Gohan is going to win or lose his fight? I'm not sure myself. I'm really excited. And if you're a returning subscriber, then tomorrow, or actually the day of this going up, there should be a JoJolion review for Chapter 62. So be on the lookout for that. If you're a new person watching and you decide to subscribe, then you guys get 2 videos today. And, you know, if you're new and you haven't decided to subscribe, go ahead and subscribe. Leave a like down below. I'll be uploading more Dragon Ball Super reviews every week as the episodes come out on Sunday mornings. I will also be doing Dokkan Battle videos whenever something new comes out and I want to do an event or something, or summons if I have summons for it. And I'll be doing Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 stuff as it gets released as well. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.